We need to have a very serious conversation about Mohamed Kudus. And to be honest, I think we need to have a very serious conversation about Edson Alvarez as well. Since their departure from Ajax, Ajax have been in turmoil. They're currently fifth in the Eredivisie, which, I mean, you can say that's not too bad if you want to, but they are 9 points behind FC20 and behind AZ Alkmaar. Alkmaar, of course, we beat in the Conference League last season. They're currently in the Conference League. I'm pretty sure they got knocked out of the Conference League this season as well. Ajax have just finished third. They've been demoted to the Europa Conference League. Granted, they had Marseille and they had Brighton, but considering the pedigree that Ajax boast and how good they are, I think it's absolutely incredible the downfall that we've seen from them. We know they're a selling club, but they tend to be able to mitigate that. They tend to be able to get in replacements and capitalise on that. And between Alvarez and Kudus, we've spent just shy of £70 million. And I know there was like a little a meme going around that Arsenal owe West Ham another 30-40 million pounds. To be honest, I feel like we owe Ajax definitely another good 20-30 million pounds just for how good Mohamed Kudus and Edson Alvarez have been. You look at Alvarez's stats, first of all, he's had 13 appearances in the Premier League. We've won 7 of them. So look, I mean, it's pretty clear to see that when he plays, we tend to win. We win better. Defensively, 52% tackle success rate, which is, I'd say it's okay. It's fairly average in the Premier League. It's fairly decent. 16 interceptions. He's won 52 duels, lost 62. He's won 13 aerial battles, 0 errors leading to goal, 20 headed clearances, 37 clearances, 16 interceptions. He's been really good. I think probably him going forward is not as good as Rice has been, but we always said that we need 2 players, and at the moment it seems like Ward-Prowse's output and Alvarez's defensive capabilities have been able to produce the kind of player that Declan Rice is. And Mohamed Kudus specifically, I mean, since he's come in, he scored 3 goals in the Premier League, 1 goal in the EFL Cup, and 2 goals, of course, in the Europa League. And I think he's been absolutely incredible. I think the way both of them are bought into the club as well. Alvarez yesterday said, I can't believe I've scored my first goal for this beautiful shirt. They both did a joint interview and showed very good accounts of themselves. And it's very clear that they bought into the club at every level. And, I think they're probably our 2 most influential players at the moment. I think you see a real difference in that West Ham side when Alvarez doesn't play. You see a real difference in that side in terms of goals and creating chances when Kudus doesn't play. They are absolutely invaluable to this West Ham side at the moment. And, I just think they're playing incredibly well. You look at who we were linked with, McTominay, amongst some other players. Edson Alvarez, he was going to go to Borussia Dortmund. They are top of the Champions League. They're doing incredibly in the Bundesliga. They're not a club that mess around. They buy typically quite well as well. They're quite good at making a profit. They're quite good at going out and getting the players that I think are some of the best in Europe. And Edson Alvarez, is very clear to see why they were interested in him. I mean, I think we spent around £33 million on him, 30 million. And what a bargain that is. I mean, when you look at McTominay, he was going to cost around 40 million. Again, was 27 million, who I think has been good since he's come in. But £30 million is not that much money, to be honest, in the grand scheme of football. We signed Scamacca for 35. It's really not that much money in the grand scheme of football. But, Edson Alvarez has been incredible. I think that defensively, he reads the game really well. He's one of the few players that will put in a crunching tackle as well, which, as we all know, as West Ham fans, is something that we really idealise. I just think he's been absolutely incredible since he's come in. And when he doesn't play, it's so obvious. Obviously, he was brought in to replace Declan Rice. I feel as though now we need to get someone who can cover the gap that Alvarez leaves when he's not playing. If he's got an injury or an illness. I don't believe he played against Fulham, and we conceded 5 goals. It's very clear to see the impact that he has when he's on the pitch, and it's difficult to ascertain just how good your CDM is, but having lost Declan Rice, we knew that would be a massive hole in the team, and Alvarez has filled that hole and more. You know, he's been brilliant, and I think he showed as well that he can go forward, and he has that, you know, the ability to be able to get into that sort of final third and you know, create stuff. And I mean, the ball through to Kudus as well for the goal yesterday was incredible. Alvarez probably man of the match, absolutely brilliant. And Mohamed Kudus, I mean, we are really going to struggle to hold on to him in the summer. I know we've just bought him, but you know, he is Champions League quality. He really is. And I think that there's, you know, Jarrod Bowen, Lucas Paqueta, and Kudus have shown themselves to be probably above the level that we're playing at the moment. I'd say maybe you argue maybe Alvarez could make a debate to say that Alvarez is also Champions League quality. I mean, he has Champions League appearances. I think he would play well for many sides. But I look at teams in the Premier League and I think, right, well, who would Alvarez start for? And personally, he wouldn't start above Rice for Arsenal. He wouldn't start for City. I think he would walk into that Liverpool side. He would probably walk into that Spurs side with the way he's playing. Chelsea, Brighton, I'd say that bar Arsenal and City, I think he probably walks into most Premier League setups. And Mohamed Kudus as well, playing on the right. Yeah, I mean, look, Saka's a brilliant player, but I think if he played for Arsenal, he would be scoring loads of goals right now. City, I think he probably would get in that City team as well, to be honest with you. Probably bold to say. Tottenham, I think he walks in that Tottenham side. Same with Brighton, same with Newcastle. I mean, well, actually, to be fair with Alvarez, maybe he doesn't walk into the Newcastle setup, but, you know, I'd say that there's a good 15, maybe 17 teams that both of sets of those players walk into in the Premier League. And then, you know, Kudus is very clearly, I mean, Paqueta and Kudus are players that we are going to really struggle to keep a hold of in the summer. Probably Paqueta more so because, you know, he hasn't signed his contract too long ago. I think it was 2 seasons ago that we signed him. When a club like City comes sniffing as well, it's very tough to keep a hold of a player like Paqueta. If I was Paqueta, I would absolutely go to City and I wouldn't judge him for it at all. As far as Alvarez is concerned, I think he'll probably stay in the summer. And Jarrod Bowen, I mean, I know he's had a long-time contract, but I think we'll really struggle to keep him. And Kudus as well, I just think he's brilliant. I think that any club really, I mean, Arsenal were after him. Why they didn't buy him is beyond me. Chelsea have got more money than they know what to do with. Why they didn't put a bid in for him, I'll never know. They've come into this West Ham side. They've bought in from the top to bottom. They give really good accounts of themselves and they play brilliant football. So I think you absolutely have to give, I mean, £35 billion between them, more or less. 70 million kind of joint, which isn't, I think that's probably about, 70% of the Rice money, which is crazy to me. I think that you've got to give Steiden and Moyes a lot of credit for being able to bring them in. I mean, you look at how much Paqueta struggled last season when he first came into the Premier League, how much Aged struggled, pretty much how much every new player struggled. And the AJAX duo have literally come in and just hit the ground running. I mean, we're 17 games into the season, I want to say. We're 17 odd games into the season, and it's so the way they've been able to just come straight in and start performing, especially when we didn't buy them and they go straight in the lineup. They still had to bide their time. The fact they've been able to come in and perform at the levels they're performing at, I think is absolutely incredible. I think we'll really struggle to keep a hold of Kudus and maybe even Alvarez in the summer. And I think we've got to give a lot of credit to Moyes, a lot of credit to Steiden for being able to get these deals over the line. And yeah, I think they've been absolutely brilliant and certainly people we need to be watching out for when it comes to the summer, and 2 players that deserve an incredible amount of credit. You know, let me know in the comments down below. What do you think of Kudus and Alvarez? Do you think they were good buy? Do you think that maybe 70 million are being a bit too generous here? You know, I mean, that is a lot of money in a sense, but also I just don't think it is with football the way it is nowadays. I don't see 70 million euros as a lot of money. I mean, it's some clubs' transfer budgets, but when you consider we just sold Rice, I really don't think it's that much money. So, you know, what do you think about the AJAX duo? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, like, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.